It's a Wednesday. It's February 11th. I'm Megan McKinney. This is Here First from Iowa Public Radio. 2nd District Republican Congresswoman Ashley Hinson says Democrats are using agencies within the Department of Homeland Security as political pawns. The federal government faces a partial shutdown if Congress can't agree on a spending bill to fund DHS by the end of the week. Democrats are demanding new restrictions on the Trump administration's immigration crackdown, but Republicans, like Hinson, say they are withholding critical funding.
What we've told our colleagues is that, ICE and CBP, they're good on money. They're funded through reconciliation. We already took care of that. So this is just political showmanship by those on the left at the expense of American safety across the board for the homeland.
Immigration and Customs Enforcement received $75 billion in multi-year funding through the Big Beautiful Bill passed last year. If Congress does not pass a new spending bill by Friday, DHS agencies providing disaster relief and airport security will shut down indefinitely. Governor Kim Reynolds' bill to tighten laws around checking the immigration status of state hires and restricting bail for people without legal status has advanced through a House subcommittee. Here's more from IPR's Katerina Sostarek.
The bill would codify Reynolds' executive order requiring state agencies and boards to ensure new state hires and license applicants are authorized to work in the U.S. It would also establish a presumption that people without legal status who are charged with a crime would be held in jail before trial. A defendant could challenge that by demonstrating they'll appear for their trial. Lisa Davis-Cook with the Iowa Association for Justice says under the state constitution, all people, not just all citizens, should be eligible for bail in most cases.
When someone is arrested, that's only an accusation. They have not been convicted. And so keeping them in jail before a conviction has serious consequences.
The bill would also require Iowans to swear they're a U.S. citizen when registering to vote. The governor's legislative liaison says the bill will help improve public safety. I'm Katerina Sostarek, IPR News.
The city of Coralville is considering revisiting its contract with Flock, a company that operates automated license plate readers. IPR's James Clegg reports this comes after the Iowa Attorney General raised concerns about the city's policy.
The Attorney General's office sent the city a letter saying certain parts of its policy prohibiting the readers from being used for immigration enforcement purposes do not comply with state and federal laws. Councilmember Hai Hun says the parts of the policy that the council put in place to protect residents are now being turned against them.
No one is safe right now in this current climate, and that is the truth. Whether you want to hear that truth or not, it is what's happening right now in our country, in our state. And it could happen here locally if we are not careful.
Other council members say they want to revisit the city's contract with Flock, given the current state of federal immigration enforcement efforts. A vote on the contract will likely happen during the council's next meeting. I'm James Kelly, IPR News.
Food and Water Watch and the Iowa Environmental Council say they plan to sue the EPA unless the agency returns 7 Iowa waterways back to the state's impaired waters list. The EPA removed them from the list last year. That was a reversal of an earlier decision by the agency, which said segments of the Cedar, Des Moines, Iowa, and South Skunk rivers exceeded safe drinking water standards for nitrate. Every 2 years, states must submit a list of every impaired water body or river segments to the EPA. The causes for impairment include fish-killing fertilizer spills, E. coli, and high nutrient levels. The state works with the EPA to set a target to reduce pollutants and create a restoration plan. You're listening to Here First from IPR. I'm Megan McKinney. It's been almost a year since Iowa lawmakers passed a law that removed gender identity from the state civil rights code.
I will no longer continue to be in a state that is not going to respect who I am.
Since last year, LGBTQ rights organizations in Iowa and other states say transgender and non-binary Iowans are fleeing the state. More in just a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back to this Wednesday edition of Here First from IPR. I'm Megan McKinney. It's been almost a year since Iowa's legislature passed a historic law that repealed state civil rights protections for transgender people. It follows years of anti-trans laws coming from the state legislature, including a youth ban on gender-affirming care. Transgender and non-binary Iowans have been asking themselves if they see a future here. I talked to one young couple who took the risk of starting over.
I totally forgot what I was about to say.
Joe Allen and Oliver Rowling laughed together on a Zoom call in Denver.
Okay. Just stop touching me, please.
At 25 and 27 years old, the couple have a natural ease together, bickering while grinning.
Just let me be.
Both grew up in Des Moines. Riling is non-binary and Alan is transgender. The couple moved to Denver last fall to seek a place where they felt safe. Riling says it was scary not knowing how life would be in Iowa after the state removed anti-discrimination protections for gender identity.
The thought of being in an interview and not knowing if our rights are being protected or even if we could have our chosen name be respected in the workplace or pronouns being respected in the workplace, kind of just the bare minimums being respected. But at the same time, you could be fired for being trans.
Like many people in their 20s, they had the thought of living somewhere else, but Alan says it became more of a consideration in the past year.
I was experiencing a lot more targeted hate. It doesn't really matter what it was. It doesn't matter if I'm trans, because even if you take the trans away, I'm still colored.
After the legislature removed gender identity from the Civil Rights Act, the couple says moving became urgent.
I will no longer continue to be in a state that is not going to respect who I am.
Yeah, I think the decision shifted from wanting to leave to needing to leave.
It's not known how many people have left Iowa because of the civil rights law change, but LGBTQ rights organization One Iowa says they're seeing people leave. Executive Director Max Mowitz says most leaving are young adults or families with trans kids.
Folks want to get out because of the Civil Rights Removal Act. A lot of folks that are leaving are also, again, folks of color that already experience a lot of racism in Iowa.
Mowitz says, to their knowledge, people are mostly relocating to Minnesota, Colorado, and Illinois, all of which have transgender shield laws that codify gender-affirming care, among other protective policies. LGBTQ rights organizations in Colorado and Minnesota say they have noticed more Iowans moving there since the civil rights change.
This is a climate where we're seeing more people hitting those breaking points.
That's Kat Roan, who leads Outfront Minnesota. The organization added a volunteer to answer calls and emails from people who are looking to relocate there since Iowa changed its law. Roan says each person's situation is unique, but she's seeing more people move there for legal protections.
This is a time where folks feel like I literally will not have access to care that I need to stay alive, or my civil rights will no longer be seen and respected by my state in a way that is making me really rethink my decisions.
But it's not as simple as leaving Iowa and living worry-free. Roan says the organization has guided people from over 20 states that have relocated there in the past several years.
And what we always tell folks is, make thoughtful choices. These are huge decisions in your life. We cannot promise you that Minnesota is going to be perfect, but we can promise you that there are a lot of people working to make this a welcoming state.
In Colorado, Joe Allen and Oliver Rowling agree. Allen says moving to Denver was not a quick and easy decision.
No matter where you go, racism and transphobia and ugly, nasty people are going to follow you anywhere because hatred is very much alive. But at the end of the day, I still feel like I can move around here safer.
The couple says it's been challenging navigating a rough job market and making friends, but exciting to build a new life. There are still moments of homesickness.
We left a lot of love behind.
Leaving when we did, I think is going to help us appreciate the state later.
Yeah.
I think being there longer was going to make it almost really make us hate that place. And I don't hate Iowa and I don't want to.
The couple says it was hard to leave the state at a critical time for transgender advocacy, but say they have hope in those who are still in Iowa fighting for trans rights. I'm Megan McKinney. You're listening to Here First on IPR. Thanks for listening today and have a great Wednesday.